Welcome back to the Excel Arena in London for London 2012, the Paralympic Games. And you join us for the gold medal match of the sitting volleyball between Iran and Bosnia and Herzegovina. These are the two preeminent teams in the world in this sport. They stand above it like no two other teams in any other sport. They are totally dominant. The only sort of equivalent I can think of is maybe Spain in football, and that's about it. We're just seeing on the screen there the Iranian results from the tournament so far. They've now gone off very conveniently, but these two teams were in the same group. They were both in Pool B. They won and have won even since then in the quarterfinals and the semi-final every single game 3-0. The only game that has not been a 3-0 victory for both of these teams is the match where they actually played against each other. And that was in the Pool B game when Iran came out 3-1 victors, which is obviously a prequel to this match and maybe gives us an indication of what the score is going to be in this game. But obviously Bosnia-Herzegovina will be hoping that that's not the case. But the fact that they have both won every single game 3-0 shows you just how dominant these two teams are in this sport. They have no one to touch them, and if you were watching us a little bit earlier for the bronze medal match, which the Germans won, it will help you understand why the Germans were so happy with that result, because it was for them a gold medal match. These two teams are so far away and ahead of all the other teams, and we're set up here for what should be an amazing final. The thing for both of these teams is that they will both get a medal. What they're battling for here is to decide what colour that medal will be. In terms of Paralympic history, whilst both these teams are pretty dominant, Iran have the lead by quite a long way since and including 1988. The games in 1988. Iran have won the gold in 1988, in 1992, in 1996, in 2000 and in 2008. And you'll notice there was a gap between 2000 and 2008. That gap was in 2004 in Athens. And the team that won the gold on that occasion was the opponents of Iran today, Bosnia and Herzegovina. So they have it sewn up between them. And here they are again, meeting each other in the final. They met in the finals in 2008. They met in the finals in 2004 and in 2000. So it's the fourth final in a row which has been between these two teams at the Paralympics. And there we can see the fans of Bosnia and Herzegovina excited before the start of this gold medal match as the two referees come on. You can hear in the background the stadium announcer welcoming Anton Probst from Germany, the first referee, and Tuomas Marulo from Estonia. If you're ever unsure, and if I'm not quite quick enough to point out who's won a point, if you keep your eye on the referee after a point has been scored, he will point towards the team who has won that point. So the referees are obviously there to control the game, but they're also there to help us understand and keep up with what is going on as the players start to enter the pitch now. These are the Bosnian and Herzegovinian team. And as you can see, they are wearing black. Apart from the libero, who's number 4, Adnan Kezmer. The libero is a specialist defensive player. He's not allowed to play attacking shots. There is the Bosnian coach waving to his friends and family, looking confident. Now we welcome the Iranian team. They're wearing white. Obviously, we don't need to worry too much about there being a clash between their white top and the white top of the Bosnian libero, because they're on other sides of the net. And number 11 is their libero. And there's their coach. The very natty t-shirts that the Iranian coaching staff are wearing. And there are the mass ranks of the Iranian supporters. And once again we hear the strains of Queen in the background. And just to remind you that these teams met in Pool B. And on that occasion, the Iranians came out on top, but the Bosnia-Herzegovina won the first set, 25-22. And then the Iranians won the next 3 sets to 18 points, and 22. Just to remind you that each set is played to 25 points. You have to be at least 2 points ahead to win the set. If it does go to 5 sets, the 5th set is up to 15, and again, you do have to win by 2 points. And the ball is rolled. One of the Bosnian players to take the serve. It is their captain, Delalic. And they win the first point. Take an early lead, as I just said, but they won the first set when they lost 3-1 in the pool games. And they went on to lose the next 3. All of those sets were very close. All of those sets were over 20 minutes. In fact, that 4th set was nearly half an hour. Early 2-0 lead for Bosnia-Herzegovina. And the Iranians get on the scoreboard. With a little tip spike by Ebrahimi, set up there by Alaporian, who is their main setter. Great spike there by Ebrahimi. It's the second highest of their spike reaches, up at 158 centimetres. We can expect to see some action from him at the net. An early change of personnel, Kanchar coming on for Bosnia-Herzegovina, replacing Jusovic. Iran now take a 3-2 lead. The interesting thing with both of these teams, in fact, is that whilst they do have their stars and some of the players get more points than others, they don't have any players who have an incredibly large amount of their points. If you were watching the bronze medal match with us, you might have noticed that you'll remember that two of the Russian players were by far and away their biggest scorers. They had over 50% of their points between them, whereas both for the Iranians and for the Bosnian and Herzegovinans, their point scoring is spread amongst the team. It really is, as we were saying before, a team game, and both of these teams, maybe this is why they're at the top of the charts. They really do treat it like a team game, and everyone plays their part, gets the points, does the blocks, gets the digs in, makes the sets. There's no standout players who they would really miss. But early on, Ebrahimi is proving himself to be the spike master. Set up there by Lashkari. And he takes the serve. He's an impressive athlete, tall and strong at the net. Bosnia and Herzegovina's just take a 1-point lead. It's very early in this game. Both teams jockeying for position, trying to show the others that they're the ones today. Obviously for Bosnia and Herzegovina, because they lost 3-1 in that pool game, they'll want to make an early statement of intent in this gold medal match. And that spike goes long there. One of the important things, obviously, if you're trying to make a spike, you really need to lift yourself up, lift your shoulders, get as high above the net as you can and raise your hand to hit that ball down, because the court is not that long. You've got to get it in, obviously. But one of the most important rules in sitting volleyball is that when you hit the ball, part of your body between your shoulders and your buttocks have to be touching the court. So whilst you want to get as high as possible, you need to keep in touch with the court. A good bit of defensive work by the libero there. Ramazan Salehi. It's a nice set and a great spike by by Zirahi there. Padeyesh putting the ball in. Good block at the net, but I think he touched the net. And the point goes to Bosnia-Herzegovina. It seemed to me that the Iranians had 4 touches there, but the referee didn't notice it, and I think justice is done because the point goes to the Bosnia-Herzegovinans. This is the first time out. We're about a third of the way through this set. As I said, it's the first team to 25 points will win the set, and it's the best of 5 sets. And number 4 there, Alaporian, is the big chap moving back into the defensive area there, but he really is an important player for the Iranians. He does a lot of their setting. He's a vital player because whilst the spike is an important part of the game, if you don't have it set properly, you can't get that spike in. You need it at the right height and at the right speed and at the right position. We just saw some Brazilians in the crowd, and you're probably wondering why have the Brazilians come to this game? Well, probably because it's the 2 best teams in the world, but also the Brazilians played earlier in the 5th and 6th playoff match. They beat the Egyptians 3-2 to finish 5th in this tournament. I don't want to go on about it, but those Iranian coaches' t-shirts really are lovely. So if you know where I can get one, please feel free to tweet us if you are tweeting. You can follow us on @Paralympic, or you can tweet directly to us using the hashtag #SitVball, and we will hear what you say. So if you do know where the Iranian coaches get their t-shirts from, that would be great. Scores still level, neither team managing to get that vital lead. I'm sure we'll see it many times tonight where one team will be 1 or 2 points ahead. It's only when you start to push that lead so that it's 4 or 5 points that you can not start to relax, but start to think about winning the set. You can see the line judges there with their flags. 2, 1 at each end, looking for the long spikes going out end of the court, and 1 looking down each side. See it going out the side of the court. Alaporian there, as I mentioned before, is the great setter for the Iranian team. He's now got it back to 9-all. This is Padeyesh putting it back in for the Iranians. And good defensive work there by Alaporian. Can the Bosnia-Herzegovinians win the point? Yes, they can. That was a lovely spike there by Delalic. He didn't smash it, He delicately pushed it into an area of the court where there was no defence, just beyond the libero, and it just shows that this game is not just about power. It's also about subtlety. It's also about tactics. It's about looking for the gap in the defensive area of the court opposite you. But there we saw the power game as Iran bring it back to 10-all. That spike goes long. There's Alibazic putting it long. The thing is, you need to raise yourself from the core, lift your shoulders, get the hands high, and try and get that spike so that it lands in. It's difficult because you've obviously got to get it over the net first and then bring it down the other side with pace. Some incredible defensive play there by the Bosnia-Herzegovinans, and they really deserve the point there, because I don't know how they got that ball back over the net and stopped it touching on their side of the court. But they did a great bit of reaching there by two of the players. But the Iranians won the points to bring it back to level pegging at 12-all. And this really is nip and tuck. I don't think there's been more than 1 point between the two teams since the start. I was talking a moment ago about how important it is to get high above the net to try and get that spike in. The net is 1.15 metres off the ground, so that's 115 centimetres. So obviously the reach of the players is important. Looking at the Iranian team, player with the greatest spike reach is number 10, Iza Zirahi, who has 161, so he can get a good half metre above that net. But if you're not right by the net when you do that spike, then the angle is difficult to bring it down in the court. And the Bosnia-Herzegovinian teams are generally taller. Their greatest reach is number 9, and that's Benis Kadric. He reaches an immense 1.79 meters. A great spike there from Iran, from number 3, from BIH. Absolutely walloped it. The Bosnia-Herzegovina tried to dig it out, but unfortunately that bounced straight out of court. And we're at 14-all, and neither team can get the advantage in this first set. There's a long rally there. Brought to an end, and the point goes to Iran. And it was a lifting. You'll see the umpire there, the one nearest to us with his back to us, he lifted his hand to say that one of the Bosnia-Herzegovinian players came off the court. As I've mentioned, you need to keep some part of your body between your buttocks and your shoulders touching the court when you play the ball. The reason it's that area rather than just the buttocks is obviously sometimes when they're leaning back for a defensive shot, they might lift their buttocks but keep their shoulder in touch with the court while they play the shot. Manko with the serve. And that spike by Duran goes out. And the Iranians take a 16-15 lead as we go into this timeout. Let's not forget that you can hear the crowd going crazy, and that's because this is the gold medal match. This is what they've been playing for. This tournament spread over 11 days. This is their 7th match in 10 days. Their 7th match in 10 days, which is quite a high intensity, as you've seen already. It's pretty much a non-stop sport while the ball is in play. There's no time for resting. And the greatest pressure comes on the shoulders. You can see the player there, number 2, Lasgari, has strapping on his left shoulder. The sport first emerged, just for those of you who don't know, first emerged in the Netherlands in the 1950s. It was a combination of volleyball and a German game called Sitzball, which my German's not brilliant, but Sitzball to me sounds like a sitting game with a ball. And the popularity grew in the 1960s. First seen at the Olympics at the 1976 Toronto Games as a demonstration sport, and first medal was fought for in Arnhem in 1980. And for more than a decade now, the Iranians have been the champions of this sport. And they, for the first time, get a little bit of daylight. It's only a little bit of daylight. They've got 2-point lead here, but we're coming down towards the business end, the deep end of the set. And if they can maintain that lead, and they stretch it a little bit, a 3-point lead. And the thing with this game, it has been nip and tuck, the set so far. One team in the lead, and then it's been level. But the Iranians have finally got a 3-point lead, and you can see the Bosnia and Herzegovina coaching staff have called a timeout because they can see that the momentum is shifting, and they need to get some words to their troops, calm them down, make sure that they stay in this set. You'll notice how the teams have to work together, or each team has to work together. The 6 men on the court, they move together around the court, defending it when the ball is on their side, trying to get into an attacking position to convert defense into attack. The first touch is the dig, where they dig it out, and they try to set it up for their spike, where they try to smash it over and land it in the court, or try and get it off the block so that the defending team pushes it out of court. Zirahi putting in the serve here, and a very lackadaisical defensive shot from the Bosnia-Herzegovina libero there, Adnan Kezme. It was almost like he was asleep, and this game really relies on concentrating. If you go to sleep for 1 second, you'll find the ball flying at you at a high rate of knots, and that's another point down. And the Iranians suddenly, all the way through to 15 all, this game was level, and suddenly the Iranians have changed gear. They've gone up to 5th, and they have pulled away 5 points into the lead. Can Bosnia and Herzegovina do anything about it, or is this the first set over with? And just as I'm saying it, Kadric, and you can see how delighted he is at that, with his little ponytail, or I think that officially might be called a rat's tail. It's some sort of hair accoutrement that I don't have, but he is delighted with that point. So then now 4 points in it. That's a long serve, and that's a very good serve. The Iranians looking mildly confused. I think they were expecting a quicker serve. And sometimes when you're expecting something quick and it comes a little bit slowy and a little bit flighty, it's harder to deal with. It's like when you pick up a box and you expect it to be heavy, but it's really light. You can do yourself some damage. He tries the same tactic again, but that's one of the problems. The serve is so important. It's not just the way to get the game started. It's so important because if you get that serve wrong, the point is lost. And on that occasion, the serve went long, and you don't get a second chance like you do in tennis. There's no second serve in sitting volleyball. That's the point gone. And the Iranians suddenly, with the momentum back on their side, regain their 5-point lead. You can see how much that means to them. They've won the gold medal. at the Paralympics 5 of the last 6 times. The only team to have taken that gold medal off them in all that time is the team facing them on the other side of the net, wearing black tonight. They want this gold though, again, the Iranians. Just because they've won it 5 out of 6 times, that doesn't mean that they are sated. They are hungry for more. The Bosnian and Herzegovina team know though that they can beat them. If there is one team in the world who can beat the Iranians, it is them. They didn't manage it in the pool game. They lost 3-1. But they have managed it in the past. Can they manage it tonight? Number 2 for Iran, Lashkari. Let's see the strapping clearly evident on his shoulder. I don't think that's actually the shoulder of the arm that he hits with, but you can see that this is a game which puts the strain on the whole body. Quick switch there. Hamzic coming off. Alibazic coming on for the Bosnia and Herzegovina team. Serve comes in. It's a quick one, but it's dealt with. And a little dainty spike there by number 6, Duran. A lot of the spikes you'll see will be the hard, smacked ones which fire at the opposition, but that one he just dinked it over and nobody could get it back. It's the more traditional spike, and that wins the point for Iran, 23-18. They can see the winning line at the end of this set. They can see a 1-0 lead looming not very far in the distance. Can they keep their nerve? They have a 5-point lead. It's going to be difficult for Bosnia and Herzegovina to get back into this set now. It's another lifting violation there. They're questioning it. The referee's decision is final. The Iranians take a 24-18 lead, which gives them 6 set points to take a 1-set-to-love lead. Let's see what they can do with it. The serve coming in now. It's good defensive work. It's incredible defensive work by the Bosnians. And the point goes to Bosnia and Herzegovina because the Iranians had 4 touches to get the ball back over. As you'll know, it's 3 touches on your side of the net. If you touch it 4 times, the point goes to the team. That does not include the defensive block. So if you're up there doing a defensive block and it hits your fingers, that does not count as a touch. Although it does count as a touch if it hits your fingers and goes out. This set is already stretched beyond 20 minutes. Amazing defensive work there by the Bosnia and Herzegovina player, Ermin Jusovic. It looked like a lost cause, but he won them that point. He saved the set point, and the set is not yet over. Although the Iranians are in a commanding position, it's not over until you win that final point. Duran looking quite satisfied with himself. Some of the fans hoping that the Bosnia and Herzegovinans can get back into this set and maybe save it. So a little tippy spike there. And that spike from the Bosnians goes long, only just. But that gives the first set to Iran, 25-19. They take a 1-set-to-love lead. In the group game, in the pool game rather, Bosnia and Herzegovina won the first set. They went on to lose 3-1, but they did win the first set, which is the only set that Iran have lost in the whole tournament. And apart from that game, Bosnia and Herzegovina have not lost a set in the whole tournament. These are the only teams who have taken sets off each other. I don't think I can find another way to make that same point, so I will leave it there. So time to get their breath back in between the sets. The Iranians in the knowledge that they're one set to love up, just 2 sets away from their ultimate prize, which is the gold medal in this Paralympic London 2012 tournament for the sitting volleyball. Their coach there in the middle gesticulating, encouraging them to further effort. Fans enjoying the background music which is played whenever there's a little break in the play at this Excel Arena. It's one of the few arenas that wasn't specially built for the London 2012 games. Little Bosnia and Herzegovina chant as they move back onto the court for the second set. It's really a set that the Bosnia and Herzegovina team cannot afford to lose. To go 2-0 down to the Iranians is going to create an absolute mountain for them to climb. The Iranian libero standing at the side. It's not clear whether he's going to start this set or whether he's just there to encourage his teammates. Ramazan Zalehi. No, he is coming on. Number 2, Lashkari will serve to start this set. Iran at 1 set to love up. Bosnia and Herzegovina take the first point, but that means little in the whole shape of things. It's 25 points before you can win a set. We saw there one of the Bosnian and Herzegovinian players keeping the ball in play with his feet. You can play the ball with any part of your body. There are no limitations as to which part of the body you can play the ball with. If your foot's nearest, get the foot under it and get it back. If you want to head it, you can head it. But one of the important rules, and we've already seen a couple of the players fall foul of it, is you must keep part of your body in touch with the court, part of your body between your buttocks and your shoulders. If you play a shot while you're not in touch with the court, you will lose the point. Number 7, Sadegh Big Delhi putting the serve in there. It was a big serve for Delhi. Big Delhi, they won the point. Alaporian getting the spike. And that serve goes long. There's nothing more frustrating for a sitting volleyball spectator or player, I'm sure, than when the serve goes long. It is a closed skill. There's no other outside agent or pressure on you. You have the ball, you can throw it up when you want, you can throw it how high you want, you can hit it where you want. But it's amazing how often pressure from the opposition, from where their defensive players are, from what has gone on before, the pressure of the position of the game will affect a serve. I'm sure these players in training, if they were serving on an empty court, they would never serve it out. But let's not be too critical of them when they serve it out here, because what they're trying to do is to put the defensive team under pressure. They can do that by playing an extremely quick serve, or in this case they've played a soft serve because sometimes the softer ball is harder for the defensive team to deal with. As we saw there, when the ball comes onto you slowly, you have to put more effort into getting it moving back the other way, and in that case the Bosnia-Herzegovina team weren't able to do that. It was a floaty serve, but you'll see a wide variety of serves. Again, it's the floaty one. It's harder for them to get it back into play. They have to put the movement on the ball. Spike was set up there, and spike was delivered by Pedayesh for the Iranians. It was blocked on the Bosnian side, but the block went straight out of play, as you can see with the judge in the background, the line judge. So the point goes to the Iranians, and for the first time in this set, it's still very early, but they've opened up now. A 3-point lead. Could that be vital? If Iran get away at this point, they won't be very far from a 2-set-to-love lead, which will be almost impossible for Bosnia and Herzegovina to get back. That's a great spike there from from Zirahi. Diagonal spike into an open area of the court. You'll see the players when the ball is being moved around on the other side of the court, they're constantly in motion, trying to predict where the ball is going to go. They've got to try and defend their area of the court for when it comes over on one of those spikes. But if the opposition have got a good spiker, number 10 for Iran, he's their tallest spiker. He's 106. His spike reach is 161 centimeters, which is almost half a meter above the net. So when he gets close to the net, if the set is right and he's got his eye in, he can really put that spike away. The court that they're defending is 6 meters wide by 10 meters long, so that's an area of 60 meters. So in effect, each man has to cover 10 square meters, which if you look around your room, I'm sure that's bigger than the room that you're... Sorry, not 10 square meters, my maths isn't particularly good at the moment. Yes, it is 10 square meters. 60 square meters, and each player, there's 6 players on the court, they've each got to cover 10 square meters, which is a big area of court. So when that spike is set up properly, it's difficult to defend against. And the Iranians maintain that 3-point lead. Sorry, they go. Yeah. I seem to change his mind there at the last minute. The Bosnia and Herzegovina come back to within a point. It looked as though the point was going to Iran there. So the Iranians call a timeout. There's 2 points in it. Things are constantly changing in sitting volleyball. The tactics of the teams will change. As we know, there's different ways to spike. There's different ways to set. There's different ways to defend. You can spike from further back. It's more difficult, but you can spike from further back, or you can spike from right up by the net. You can change the way that you serve. It's not just about changing the velocity of the serve. You can change the direction of the serve. And you can change the length of the serve, so it's difficult to defend. And that's why we have these timeouts, because one team will change something. They'll come back into the game. The other team will have to find some way to change what they're doing to counteract that. But at the moment, the momentum is with the Iranians, is with the current holders of the Paralympic gold medal. They won it 4 years ago in Beijing. They beat the Bosnia-Herzegovinians in that final. They beat them earlier this week, or earlier in this tournament, in the Pool B game. They beat them 3-1, and on that occasion the Bosnia-Herzegovina team won the first set, but tonight the Iranians have won the first set. They're already 1 set to love up. Can they make it 2? They're ahead in this second set. Aliporian is going to put the ball back in. He's going to serve at 8-6 up. Bosnia-Herzegovina pull it back. As I said before, on average, the Bosnia-Herzegovina team are taller, or have a higher reach, have a greater reach, a spike reach and a block reach than the Iranian team. But if you look on the court, the Iranians look as though they have a greater reach. That man there, number 10, Iza Zirahi, is their man with the greatest reach. And he put that spike away to give them a 9-7 lead, and they have the serve. If you win the point, you either keep the serve if you've already got it, or if you didn't have it, you gain the serve. Aliporian with the set. Zirahi with the spike. goes to the Bosnians. I'm not quite sure why there. It looked to me as though the Iranians won that point, but the referees have decided otherwise. It went outside the net. It hit that little red and white stick that you can see. You have to get the shot inside there. That's part of the net. It's not like tennis, and I keep comparing it to tennis, but there are similarities. But whereas with tennis, you don't actually have to get it over the net. You could hit it round the side of the net, but with sitting volleyball, those two red and white poles, you have to get the ball inside of those. The Iranians now retake their 2-point lead. Zirahi with the serve. Set for Iran there, and that's a good spike by number 9, Ebrahimi. Now take a 3-point lead in this set. Is that going to be all that they need? Timeout called, as we've seen already, often. Once a team gets 3 or 4 points in the lead, a timeout is called. On this occasion, the Bosnia-Herzegovina team call that timeout. It's a little time to rest, because when the game is in play, even between points, there's no time to rest. There's not much time between the points. And in the background there, we can see some of the 70,000 strong army of volunteers here at these Paralympics, sweeping the court. Obviously, the players are diving all over the court. And bits of sweat obviously get on the court, so that needs to be cleaned off. Bosnia-Herzegovina will know that they need to get back into this set. They cannot afford to lose this set. Zirahi again with the serve, strapping on his hitting arm. A little dinky spike from Ebrahimi, number 9. Seems to be preferring those at the moment. Set from Zirahi. And that spike goes long from Iran, and the point goes to Bosnia-Herzegovina. They pull it back to 2 points. Medic is going to put the serve in. Duran comes on. Is he like Duran Duran, the band? Hungry like a wolf. Can he bring Bosnia and Herzegovina back into this game? If you're following us on Facebook, you need to look for facebook.com/Paralympic Games. And if you're following us on Twitter and you want to tweet about this gold medal match, you can use the hashtag #SITVBall, SITVBALL, or you can follow us at Paralympic. And that will give you access to all the information from the Paralympic organisation about all the sports going on today. Today is sadly the last day of full competition. There are some events tomorrow, but this is the last full day of competition, the closing ceremony tomorrow evening, which brings to the end not just the Paralympics, of course, but the end of London 2012. And the Olympics kicked us off, and as the Paralympics said, that was a great warm-up for the Paralympics to then come in. As you've seen in the background, this is another sellout stadium for this gold medal match. Paralympics, for the first time ever, I believe, has been a sellout in terms of tickets. Every event has been massively attended, and that's why we have such a loud crowd in the background as the Iranians take a 3-point lead in this second set of this gold medal match. This second set could well be decisive. If Bosnia can bring it back to 1-1, they will be back into this final. But if Iran can make it 2-0, there could be no way back for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Serve coming in from Iran. The libero, you can see him there just moving around at the back. It's a good set, a good spike, but great defensive work from the libero. That's exactly what he's there for. But in spite of his good defensive work, he did the dig, but the spike was taken by someone who lifted off the ground. I'll say it again, just in case you don't know. I'm sure there's no one watching now who doesn't realise that you have to keep some part of your body between your shoulders and your buttocks in touch with the court when you play the shot. If you do not, you lose the point. The set there. Number 3, Pedeyesh. It's a good spike, but Bosnia and Herzegovina A great shot by Alibazic. Gets the point and brings them back within 1 point of Iran. They know that they have to win this set. And Alibazic put all his weight behind that shot. He's not their tallest player. He's not got the greatest reach. He got that ball in well. Iran now regain their 2-point lead. Ebrahimi coming back, ready for the serve. Got tape on his fingers, gives him a little more purchase. The timeout is called by Iran. They're just 2 points ahead. Still a long way to go in this set. It's 25 points before you can chalk it up. So it's not over yet. There's still plenty of time. With a little cramp in his leg there, stretching it out. I think that is Alaporian. I can't tell because he's lying down and he's out of shot. Actually, it's not Alaporian. I think it is... no, it is Alaporian, actually. And the nice thing that we can see in the crowd, there's supporters from all countries at this gold medal match. It's not just fans of Iran and Bosnia and Herzegovina. There's Brazilians, there's British fans. We've seen some Dutch fans earlier. Everyone wants to know who's going to win this match, who's going to take this gold medal home with them. Obviously, they both know that they're going to take a medal. What they don't know is what colour that medal will be. And whilst there is a lot to say about winning a silver medal, if you asked either of these teams what they wanted, they would not have to think for a nanosecond. They want the gold, and they will not stop until they've got it. Manko with the spike there, just caught the tip of the Russian finger, of the Iranian finger, which pushed it out and gave them the point. Alibazic with the serve. You see Duran just in front of him there, in the back court in a defensive position. That's a great spike there from Zirahi. As I mentioned before, he has the tallest spike reach at 161 centimetres, almost half a metre above the net. And if he's close enough to the net and he gets some purchase on the ball, it's going to be difficult to dig that one out. Hamzic coming on for Bosnia and Herzegovina. He's their oldest player at 44. And they obviously did something because they won that point. They get back within 1 point of the Iranians. Seeing as I've mentioned the oldest player on the Bosnia and Herzegovina side, it only seems fair to mention the oldest player on the Iranian side, and that's their captain, Jalil Amiri. Sorry. The Iranians take a 2-point lead again, and it's another timeout. Alaporian having treatment on that leg again. That's the second time we've seen him have treatment on that leg. It looked to me like they were maybe putting some ibuprofen gel on there, or some other gel. There are other gels available, which are these pain-killing gels, which, unlike tablets, you can rub straight onto the point of the pain. He'd been having it stretched out earlier. We thought he had cramp. Now he's had some gel on. He's having some more stretching done there. He looks like a calf strain. And the thing is, even though it's called sitting volleyball, you'll see them pushing themselves around on the court, and they have to push themselves around very quickly. It's not a case of they're just sitting in one position. They move around the court. When the ball is on their side of the net, they have to move around because they have to get into the offensive position. When they don't have the ball, they've constantly got to be aware of where the ball's going to come over so that they can get the dig in or the block in. And that's why you can still get leg injuries in this sort of in this sport. Watch them now. They come back after that timeout. A couple of people there doing the Mobot. Praise of Mo Farah, the Team GB long distance runner who won gold in 5,000 and 10,000 metres this year at the Olympics. Kadesh putting the ball back in for Iran, and they win that point to take a 3-point lead, and it's now getting quite vital as we get towards the very end of this set. Any large lead at this point is going to be very difficult to claw back for the Bosnian Herzegovinans. Delalic with the set. The little tippy touch over by Manko. He didn't actually get the point there, but then the spike from the Iranians went long. There's really two types of spike. There's the little tippy tap one that we saw there from Manko, where you just touch it over. You're just touching it over the fingers of the blockers. Or there's the real smashed spike, where you're trying to get on top of the ball and play it down into the court with power, finding that space. And that's what we saw on that occasion. Bosnia and Herzegovina getting now within 1 point of Iran. Just past the 19-minute mark in this set. Iran winning that point there with what we're going to call the tippy-tappy spike. It's just a little touch, just enough of a touch to take it over the defensive blockers. It's good defensive work from Bosnia and Herzegovina there. And you see the umpire there holding up two fingers. It's not the victory salute, or it is for Bosnia and Herzegovina. He's indicating that a player on the Iranian side had two touches. There's only a few signals that the umpires give. One of them is that two-fingered one, where one of the players has had two touches. And the other one is when he's awarding the point. He'll point towards the team as he's doing there. And again, it's a two-touch point. He'll point towards the team who've won the point, and that point brings the scores level. The other one is when he'll slowly lift his hand from sort of knee level up to his waist, bending at the elbow, which is when one of the players is a lifting violation, when he's lifted off the court when he's played his shot. And Bosnia and Herzegovina, having been way behind, having been about 5 points behind at one point, now take the lead, 19-18, and you can see what that means to the Manko. Cheering that Duran spike, which Zalahi had no defense against. Manko realizes that getting ahead in this set, and getting ahead at this point in the set as we near the end of the set, is vital. They need to win this point, and that's why the Iranians have called a timeout. They need to find some way to get the momentum back. Suddenly, having looked like they were sailing towards a 2-0 victory, or a 2-0 lead, they now found themselves in trouble and in danger of losing this set. And at 1-1, suddenly this is an open match. Bosnia and Herzegovina, they need to keep that momentum going, and that's one of the reasons why timeout's called. It takes the momentum away from a team who's celebrating a point. It stops them taking that momentum into the next point. Duran there, 5 out of 13 spikes. That's a good ratio. Manko just having a word with the umpire. Maybe questioning one of the earlier points. He seems happy with the answer anyway. Maybe he was just asking him where he's going for his dinner tonight after the gold medal game. Hamzic, the oldest player on the Bosnia-Herzegovina side, puts in the serve and wins the point. That spike going long again. They're still a long way from winning this set, but they've now got a 2-point lead. Often you'll see, like in a lot of these sports, it's 1 point for one team, then 1 point for another team. So if you can get a 2-point lead, it can make all the difference. Ebrahimi coming off for Iran, being replaced by Kaleji. Alaporian with the set. Kaleji has just come on with the spike. Alaporian again, he's the main setter for Iran, but that set was a little bit deep. They're looking at each other quizzically. Suddenly they're 3 points behind. Suddenly a set which they thought they'd won, they have not won. Hamzic with the serve again. Iran know they need to do something soon, otherwise this set will be gone. The wind is definitely in the Bosnia-Herzegovina sails. Iran finally get a point, having lost, I think, 4 points in a row. Some purchase in this end of the set, that spike coming off the Bosnia-Herzegovina player's head and then going out, giving Iran the point. The spike from Duran taking the fingers of the Iranian defense, going out of play, giving the point to Bosnia and Herzegovina. 3 points in the lead, and more importantly, 3 points away from making this game, this match, 1-1. This gold medal match in the London 2012 Paralympic sitting volleyball tournament. These teams have won every single game 3-0, apart from the game that they played against each other in the group, in the pool, which Iran won 3-1. So these are by far and away the two dominant teams in this tournament. But which one is going to come out on top tonight? Which one can hold their nerve? The Bosnia-Herzegovina coach there, trying to pass on some words of wisdom. What he needs to do now is keep his team calm. They need to concentrate. As far as they're concerned, they've got a 3-point lead, and if they just go point for point until the end of this set, they will win it. They don't need to do anything spectacular. If they just win 1 point for every point that the Iranians win, they can do this. So they've just got to concentrate and keep calm. They are in the box seat. It's good defensive work by the Iranian libero, Salehi, but he couldn't win his team the point. He got it back. The spike was well blocked, very well blocked by Kanchar there, straight down. Nothing that Lashgari could do there. Zirahi comes off. Bosnia and Herzegovina only 2 points away from taking this set. We talked about it before. The pressure tells. The pressure to get that serve and make it a difficult serve to get back has meant that the serve's gone out. And Big Delhi is now going to serve for Iran. They're 3 points behind. Can they save this set? The point goes to Bosnia and Herzegovina. They're now 1 point away from the set, 1 point away from making it 1-1. They have 4 set points. They just have to win any one of the next 4 points, and this game goes into a third set with the teams level. Served by Duran. Alaporian with the set. Manko with the set for Bosnia. Iran keep it going. Pedayesh getting the spike in there, taking this set into another point. But there's still 3 set points. Salibasic could do nothing about that. Iran looked determined. What else would they be in a gold medal match? The set. Manko with the little tippy-tappy spike there, takes the point. The Iranians are expecting the smash spike, but Manko very cleverly seeing a small gap on the other side of the net. He just tipped it over, avoided the block, got the point, and it's 1 set all now. And it was 1 set all in the pool match between these two teams. Iran on that occasion had won the second set. They went on to win the next 2 sets. What is going to happen now? Stay with us to see who is going to win this gold medal match. In effect now, it's become a best of 3 sets. One team has to get to 3 sets before they win it. There's only 3 sets to go. If it goes to 5 sets, the 5th set is the best of, or is the first to 15. The next 2 sets, the first to 25. Interestingly, and as we've already said, neither of these teams has played a 5-set game yet. So if it does go to 5 sets, both of them will be in uncharted waters. In all their matches, apart from the one where they played each other, they won 3 sets to love. The only team to take a set off either of these teams are the teams that they're currently playing against. And that's why this match is so close. Iran won the first set tonight, 25-19. Bosnia-Herzegovina took that second set. And so we find ourselves at 1-1. As we move into the mid-evening now That set was 25-21 to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we can see the stats there. You can see that the Iranians got more spikes. The blocks were level, the digs, the Iranians got more digs. So on the stats, the Iranians should have won that set, but as we've said before, there is only one stat that makes any difference in this sport, and it's the one who gets the most points. And the first one to get to 25, if they're 2 points ahead, they will win the set. So having lost out on all the stats in that first set, somehow the Bosnians won it. And they take it 1-all into the third set. So the Bosnians have the serve at the start of this set, as we've seen in both of the previous sets. Up until it gets to about 15 points, it really is neck and neck. Neither team taking any advantage, neither team getting very far ahead. And so it really is a case of jockeying for position early in the set. Just keeping in touch with the other team, trying to conserve your energy, because it's in those last few points when it gets to about 17-all, 18-all, that's when it really matters. And if you're on top of your game at that point, you can suddenly open up a 2 or 3 point gap, and a 2 or 3 point gap when you've got 20 points, what you need to win the set. Bosnia and Herzegovina take an early 2-1 lead. Iran with the put-in. And as we saw there, the ball got stuck between the two hands. They were both blocking, they were both spiking at the same time. So it's called a let by the referee. That spike looked in. Or rather, it didn't look in, but I think the Iranians were convinced, as Ebrahimi did the spike, that it took the finger of one of the Bosnia-Herzegovinian players, and they thought the point was theirs, but the referee disagreed. We've got the line judges on all 4 corners. 2 of them concentrate on the back line, 2 of them concentrate on the sidelines. Just to help the referees out, because this ball can move at a hefty pace. So Iran pull it back to 3-all. As I said, it really is a case of jockeying position. If you've been watching any of the cycling at the velodrome, when they have the pursuit, although the pursuit is over a number of laps, it's only the last 2 laps really that count, and you'll see them sometimes just doing a track stand on their bicycles, trying not to let the other one get behind them, and they're just jockeying for position. And as soon as one of them makes a break, then they'll sprint past them. And it's similar to what's happening here early in the volleyball. Neither side is getting their noses too far ahead. It's 1 or 2 points here and there. And we'll see later in the set, suddenly one of the teams will do that extra spurt and try and get away. But for these first 15 or 20 points, it's pretty much neck and neck. Libero coming back on for the Iranians. Number 11, Zalehi. That's a good spike there by number 7, Kanchar, for the Bosnia and Herzegovina side. He's got a pretty incredible reach of spike reach of 171 centimeters. He hasn't got the greatest reach of the Bosnia and Herzegovina side, but he's got a greater spike reach than anyone in the Iranian side. Serve coming in from Alibazic. The set. The spike doesn't come off there. Alaporian with a little tippy-tappy spike, and he gets it in. He finds that gap. It's almost like what he's doing. He's playing the spike into what we might call the corridor of uncertainty. Behind Hamzic, in front of Duran. Hamzic doesn't know whether to go back. He's hoping that Duran's going to get it. Duran's hoping that Hamzic is going to come back and get it. And Alaporian just found that little gap between the two of them. He didn't have to hit it with pace. Just found the gap and he got the point. Chanchar at the net there. He's going to be trying to block anything that comes his way. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. Duran for Bosnia and Herzegovina, was he not concentrating? I don't know if the serve was especially fast. It didn't look that fast, but Duran went for it with one hand without any power. His wrist was limp and the ball just fell to the ground. Maybe he was hoping that the player next to him would do something, and the coach has seen something he didn't like, and Duran is off. One mistake and he's out, and the coach has freshened up the Bosnia and Herzegovina team. Mirza Hrestomovic is the coach for the Bosnia and Herzegovina team. He's made 2 changes there at that little pause. He also took off Chanchar. Bosnia and Herzegovina team have got an 11-man squad, so they can freshen it up quite a lot. There's only 6 players, as you can see, on the court at any one time. Both teams, in fact, have got 11. And it's good to use your substitutes, rotate them in and out, because it's a tiring game. Stretching up, making blocks, making spikes, doing sets, moving around the court, trying to defend is incredibly tiring. And so it's up to the coach to make those switches. And the thing is, you'd like to think for these players that they would, if they're getting a little bit tired, they'd signal to the coach that they need a break. But we're playing for the gold medal of the sitting volleyball at the 2012 London Paralympic Games, and no player is going to admit to the coach that he's tired. So it's up to the coach to have a look, see what's happening on the pitch, and if someone's tired, take him off. He can come back on again. Doesn't do anyone any favours to leave them on the court the entire time. And also use your timeouts as they're doing here. The players need to rest. They need to get their energy back. And when a game's this tight, it's not just tiring physically, it's tiring mentally. As we saw there before Duran was taken off, for some reason he wasn't concentrating, and that serve was an easy serve. You don't get many service aces or points directly from a serve, but that one just went straight to ground, and that's why Duran got taken off. And you can see the players, they are looking tired. This is the 10th day of competition. It's the 7th match that they've played. And the interesting thing is for them, as I've mentioned before, the only team to take a set off either of these teams is the team that they're playing at. So whilst none of the other games have been easy, because every game is difficult, they have won every other game 3 sets to love. So this game is going to be the longest match that they've played, without a shadow of a doubt. We're just zooming in there on the scoreboard to see that it's in the 3rd set, to see that Iran are 8-7 up. The first set was just under 20 minutes. The second set was over 20 minutes. So if we go to 5 sets, we're looking at almost an hour and a quarter, hour and 3/4, which is a long time to be playing this game with only short breaks. Alaporian with the set there, and again they go for the tippy-tappy spike. And that must have, I don't think that was 4 touches on the Iranian side. I don't think the referee has got enough fingers to say how many touches that was, but actually the point has been given for a lifting violation. One of the players lifted his buttocks off the court, but I think it was a touching violation as well. That's not an Iranian player if you're just seeing him in isolation. That is the libero for the Bosnia and Herzegovina side. Kezma coming off there. And Iran take a 1-point lead. Still under halfway really through this set. So 1 point at this point doesn't really mean that much. But again, it's a sort of spike which wasn't the pace of the spike, it was the positioning of it. the placement. It's about watching what the defense is doing and looking for those gaps. And then using your own defense wisely. Those blocks, when you've got two players blocking on the same side. One of those there was Big Delhi. The other one was Lashkari. And they kept that ball out and won that point. And again, the referee is going to give a let. It sort of got blocked between two defensive blockers. Zirahi with the serve for Iran. They're 2 points in the lead. Again, it seemed to be caught in between the two hands there, and that's going to be a let. There's no prize for if there's 3 lets in a row. And this point actually does get played now. Medic with good defensive work, and that went in. He just stretched the limit of his reach. Number 5, Medic, he somehow got it over the net, and that just landed in. Medic has not got he's got a reasonable reach, but he's not the longest reach of the team. That's 2 points in a row for the Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's a 2-touch foul by the Iranians, giving the point to Bosnia and Herzegovina. That puts it at 10-all. Again, one of our fantastic volunteers coming on to give the court a little bit of a wipe. There's a little bit of moisture on the court. Number 9 for Iran there goes for the spike. Ebrahimi, but that goes long. Bosnia and Herzegovina edge ahead, but it really is a minuscule edge they have at this point in the set. They'll be taking nothing for granted. They'll be looking for a 2-point lead here. And as I said, that 1-point lead is nothing, and the Iranians come back. It's now level. Good set and a great spike from Duran. Delalic with the serve. It's good defensive work again there by Medic, but unfortunately the Iranians still got the point. It was Ebrahimi with the little tap down spike, a very clever bit of play. I mean, he's got a good reach. He's not got as great a reach as some of the Bosnian Herzegovians, but he managed to just get over the net and tap it straight down. Alaporian there with the block. He's very pleased with himself. Iran have the serve, but unfortunately it doesn't go over the net. I've spoken about that before, about how important it is to get the serve right, but how, in spite of it being a closed skill, the pressure that builds up during these matches, the pressure that the opposition team put on your serve, means that sometimes you just get it wrong. Great defensive work from the Bosnia-Herzegovina. I don't know how they got their hand underneath the ball there, but they managed to keep the rally going. It's a good set. Good defensive work there by the Iranians. And finally, number 10, Iza Zirahi, puts the ball away. He's their player with the greatest reach, and he used it to good use there. We'll put it to good use there, if I can get my words in the right order. Chanchar comes back on. Number 12, Yusufovic goes off. And Iran suddenly, out of nowhere, have opened a 3-point lead. Timeout's been called by the Bosnian Herzegovinans because they can see that suddenly this set is getting away from them. Nice little section of Iranian fans there, all in their country's colours, all celebrating what they hope will be another gold medal for the Iranian team. Just to remind you, they've won the gold medal 5 times out of the last 6, and there we see the coach of the bronze medal winning German team. This team, less than an hour and a half ago, won the bronze medal, but he's not gone out celebrating with his team. He wants to see the 2 best teams in the world fight it out for the gold medal. Ebrahimi with the serve. Iran at 3 points to the good. And again we see a let, and the ball gets caught between the hands of the blockers, and they seem to be playing on the same side almost. It's a great effort of defensive work there by the number 10 for Bosnia and Herzegovina, Ali Basic. Didn't manage to quite keep it in, and the Iranians now take a vital 4-point lead, which at this stage of the set could be decisive. Great defensive work from the libero there for Iran, Zalehi. But his incredible defensive work goes to no good, and they lose the point. Tried to defend there with his knees. He did actually get the ball up and over the net, but unfortunately I think it's still travelling. Again we saw the ball rebound off the legs of number 9 for Iran, Ebrahimi, back into play, and that's allowed. You can touch the ball with any part of your body. Good defensive work by Alporian, but I'm not sure they're going to get this back over. They do get it back over and keep the rally going. Ebrahimi again with good defensive work, but the Bosnians just managed to win that point. Really putting the pressure on the Iranian team there. The Iranians having to defend all over the court. As I said before, the court is 6 meters by 10. It's 60 square meters, which means that each player is having to cover 10 square meters. Again, the spiking from the Bosnia and Herzegovina team. Chanchar there with a great spike, getting the point. The Iranian libero there, Salehi, could do nothing about it. I don't know, he's trying to protect himself. Now there's just 1 point in it. A moment ago it looked like the Iranians got this set sewn up, but it just shows you how quick things can change. Alporian with a little tippy-tap spike. The point going to Iran there. Another lifting violation for the Bosnian Herzegovinans. Chanchar not looking happy with that decision. Alporian not looking much happy, but he did win the point, and now he's going to serve with the Iranians 2 points in the lead. Great spike again from Chanchar. Gets them back within 1 point of the Iranians. Just to remind you the state of play, it's 1 set all. This is the 3rd set, and it's the first side to get 3 sets. So as you can imagine, this set is absolutely vital. A great bit of blocking at the net there. Looked for all the world the spike was going to get through, but the block came down and went straight into the Iranian side of the court with no... And then the libero there for the Bosnia-Herzegovina team, Adnan Kezma, looking like he was actually saying to the coach he was a little bit tired and he needed a break, which I find surprising in the gold medal match. It's good honesty from him, and Bosnia-Herzegovina go on to win the next point and get into the lead. As we reach the vital stage of this set, they take a 1 point lead, and don't forget that you need a 2 point lead to win the set. And serve from Chanchar. Alporian with the set. Great defence from both sides here. That's why they're in the final. Great defence from both sides there. That rally lasted longer than some of my relationships. 19 all and a timeout is called. I have to say that the players on both sides are looking a little bit tired. The pressure is on them, as I mentioned before. The pressure is on them. It's not just a physical pressure, it's a mental pressure of having to concentrate so much. And with the points always so close, if one team gets 3 or 4 points ahead, that could be the end of the set, and you just can't allow that to happen. And all the way through this set, even though occasionally one team has got 2 or 3 points ahead, the other team has then rallied and got back into it. The coaches have called timeouts. They've given them a chance for a breather. They've used their substitutes wisely, and they've rolled them on and off. Iran have used both their allowed timeouts for this set now. 19 all. Alaporian with the set and the spike from Big Delhi, and he certainly was big there. Nothing the Bosnia-Herzegovina side could do. Big Delhi smashes it. It hit the knee of the defending player and went out of court. Alaporian is, he might not look the most athletic of all players, but he is absolutely vital to this Iranian team. Most of their points, I would say, come from sets from Alaporian. And there he is again. Bosnia-Herzegovina get that point to make it 20 all. If you watch the Iranian side, the player who generally sets up the point is Alaporian. When they have the ball on the defensive, when they dig it, when they're getting the ball back into play, they put it to Alaporian. He sets up the spike. Iran take a 1-point lead. In a way, obviously it's not good that you lose a point there, but whilst the other team is only 1 point ahead, if you always stay within 1 point of them, you know that they can't win the set. You need a 2-point advantage to win the set. Medic being replaced there by number 8, Hamzic. As I mentioned before, and I'll try not to mention it again because it's not particularly nice for me to keep mentioning, but he is the oldest player on the Bosnia-Herzegovina team at 44 years of age. Great spike there from Duran, and it goes back to 21 apiece. The libero coming back on from for the Iranian team, Zalehi. Zevad Hamzic with the serve, issuing instructions, explaining to his team what sort of serve he's going to do. Is it going to be fast, a slow, floaty one? Is it going to be deep, short? It's a floater into the mid-court. Duran with the set. Duran again with the set. Delalic this time with the set for Duran. Duran repays the compliment. And the Iranian spike goes out, and Bosnia-Herzegovina take a 1-point lead, reaching the very end of this set. The first set was 19 minutes, the second set was 25. As the players take a break for a timeout, decide what they're going to do as this set reaches its close. So the players coming back on after that timeout. Bosnia and Herzegovina have the advantage. Can they win the set? Can they take the lead? They have been in the lead against Iran earlier in the tournament, in the pool match. They won the first set, but then they lost 3-1. Iran are such a difficult team to beat. They never give up. They cover the court. 22 plays 22. And number 2, Dashgari, has the serve. Hamzic with the dig. And the spike from number 10, Zirahi. Player with the tallest reach on the Bosnia-Herzegovina team. Gives them the point, puts them 2 points away from the set, but they're only 1 point ahead of Iran, so it's not a genuine advantage yet until they can get that 2 points. Zalehi with the serve, Alaporian with the dig. And you saw there, Ebrahimi tried to stop the ball hitting the floor with his foot, couldn't reach it with his hand. Bosnia and Herzegovina win the point. They now have that vital 2-point advantage, and they have 2 set points. Timeout called by Bosnia-Herzegovina. I don't like to disagree with their coach, but I think having won that point, it was not the time to call a timeout. They had the 2-point lead, they had the set point, and they had the momentum. And that spike goes out from the Iranians, and the Bosnia-Herzegovians are celebrating wildly because they are in the lead. They're 2-1 in the lead here. As I said, they had been in the lead earlier in the tournament, but only 1-0, which really doesn't give you much of an advantage, especially against the Iranians. The Iranians, for the first time in this tournament, for the first time probably as long as they can remember, they have lost 2 sets in a match. As I said, neither of these sides had lost any sets in any other game in this tournament so far, other than when they played each other in the pool game. So for Iran in this tournament, they'd lost 1 set earlier on when they beat Bosnia and Herzegovina 3-1. It's the first time in this tournament that they have lost 2 sets. It's the first time in this tournament, obviously, that they have been 2-1 down. And this is not the match to do it, because this is the gold medal match, the sitting volleyball of the London 2012 Paralympics. Iran have won 5 out of the last 6 Paralympic gold medals. The only team to have beaten them in a final is the team that they face today. And it's the team who are 2-1 ahead. 2-1 ahead. And now the coach plans what he's going to do and how he's going to start the 4th set. He gives his starting list to the referee with a very friendly smile. And no wonder he's smiling, because he's 2-1 up. Bosnia and Herzegovina won the gold medal back in 2004, which is the only time in recent memory that Iran have not won this gold medal. So again, the stats come up. And again, for most of those stats, as we said before, in fact, it was the same in the 2nd set. Spikes is pretty much neck and neck. Blocks, Iran are slightly better. Digs, Iran are slightly better. But the only important score or statistic on there is the one at the top, which says Bosnia and Herzegovina 25, Iran 22. There are 2 sets to play in the gold medal match. Iran, to retain their gold medal, and to make it 6 out of the last 7, need to win both of these sets. Bosnia and Herzegovina. To try and stop that run of glory for Iran. To try and take the gold medal that they won in 2004. The only team to beat this Iranian team. Only need to win one of these final 2 sets. The 2 sets that Bosnia and Herzegovina have won tonight have both been over 25 minutes. So if it's a long set, they win it. Iran, they won the first set tonight, 25-19, and that set was under 20 minutes. So the plan, I suppose, for Iran is to play it quick and fast. Get the ball moving, get the points on the board early, try and get an early lead, close this set out, and then let's go to that 5th set. If that is their plan, it hasn't started well. They've lost that first point. And don't forget, this set is the first one to 25 points. If it does go to 5th set, that is the first one to 15 points. If Bosnia and Herzegovina had sails, they would definitely have wind in them at the moment. They've just won the third set to go 2-1 up, and now they are 2-0 up in the second set. Obviously, it's early in the set. It's only 2-0. And the moment I start praising them, of course, they lose a point. The pressure is very much on Iran now. It's for them to do. They have to get back into this match. They cannot afford to lose this set, obviously, otherwise they'll lose the gold medal. Alaporian with the set. The block from Manzic. Sorry, the block from Alabazic went out. For some reason, he thought he won the point. The referee disagreed. And now it's 3-all. So a small lead there for Bosnia-Herzegovina. It's quickly wiped out. Number 8 for Iran. Jalil Aymeri is their captain. That's what the little line signifies. It's not on the back of his shirt. If you look on the front of his shirt, there's a little line under his number. And that signifies that he's the captain. The block goes out. Iran win the point. Alaporian with the set, as is so often the case. So it's 4-all. As we've seen in all of the 3 sets so far, it's been the case that it's been pretty much neck and neck all the way until one of the teams reaches 19 or 20, and then someone takes a little bit of a lead. So even though we're getting to a vital stage of the match, I'm not necessarily expecting either of these sides to take a massive lead early on. But if one of them does, it could well be the end of the set. Great block there from Manko. Manzic with the set. Sorry, Hamzic. Great defensive work from the Bosnia-Herzegovins. Unfortunately, that little spike just went out. Some incredible defensive work, but sadly it came to nothing. Serve from Alaporian. setter supreme. And wins the point from the serve. He really is a magician on these serves. He doesn't seem to do much with them, but often he wins the serve out of them. It doesn't look like he's putting spin on them. They're not particularly quick. Oh, but the referee's changed his mind. He's actually given that point to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Just as I'm lauding the incredible serves of Alaporian, everything changed. Alaporian with the set. Manko with the spike, and that is the point for Bosnia, and they've opened up a bit of a gap here. There is a little bit of daylight. The timeout's called by Iran. They seem a little confused. It's not a surprise that they're confused. They've won this gold medal so many times, it's almost like it's got their name written on it before the tournament starts. But here they are in the final of the gold medal match. 2-1 down, and they're 3 points down quite early in this set. Chanchar with the set. Manko put it away. Sorry, it was Alibazic with the set. Bosnia and Herzegovina looking quite calm, quite relaxed. They've got the leads. They've got a little bit of daylight between them and the Iranians. All the pressure is on Iran now. And the trouble is that when you're under pressure, that's when you start to make mistakes. Neither side has been under pressure during this tournament, really, other than in the pool game when they played each other. They've won all their games 3-0. Both sides have won their games 3-0. So Chanchar with the serve. (8-5) in the lead. If you're following us on Facebook, you need to look for, or if you'd want to follow us on Facebook, you need to look for facebook.com/Paralympic Games. And on Twitter, @Paralympic. Or if you want to send us a message and get our attention, if you do hashtag #SitVball. Another timeout called quite shortly after the previous one, just 1 point later. Estimovic just getting the team to calm down a bit, trying to get them to think together. The Iranian team are not used to being behind. How are they going to react to it? There's one of their fans encouraging them. If they still had a little bit of his energy, I don't think they'd have too much trouble. He's just seen himself on the screen. Bosnia-Herzegovina and libero, Kesma coming off. 2 touches there by Delalic. And he lifted himself. You don't lose 2 points for having a double violation, but it was a double point lift. Hassanpour serving for Iran. Bosnia maintain a 2-point lead. Manko with the serve. Just repositioning the players in front of him. Just changed his mind about what he wants to do. It's a good spike from the Iranians. They take that point and just stick within a point of the Bosnia-Herzegovina team. That was IRI just using the momentum of the ball to get it over the net, carry on in the same trajectory and found the gap. Great spike from Duran. Pace, nothing Ebrahimi could do about that. Hamzic with the serve. Alibazic coming back on. Godinyak going for a little breather. What can Hamzic do? Alaporian with the set. And the spike goes way out from Amiri. And Abasic with the spike. And the Iranian libero, that took him totally by surprise. It was just the pace of it. Zalehi, who's the libero for Iran, didn't see the speed of that coming. Manko hit it with everything he's got. His whole family was behind that, and that ball shot at the libero and then out of play. Point for Bosnia-Herzegovina. Iran have pulled this timeout, and I think they need to, because this set is slowly but surely drifting away from them. And if it does, that is goodbye to the gold medal, which has pretty much been their personal property for the last 6 Olympics, other than the one time when Bosnia-Herzegovina took it. Four-point gap. It's not unrecoverable, but it's dangerous. If that gap gets up to 6 or 7, then they could be in trouble. But the Iranians, they know how to win. We know that they know how to win because they've won the gold medal 5 out of the last 6 Paralympics. What we don't know about them is whether they know how to come back from behind. They're very rarely behind. They don't lose much. So can they cope with it? They're now 5 points behind. Are they losing their nerve? Are they losing their concentration? Is this a match too far? Are we seeing the passing of the torch from this great Iranian team over to the Bosnia-Herzegovina team? We may have said that back in 2004, when it was the last time that Iran lost it, but let's see what happens. Iran are not going to give up until the very last point. Another timeout is called. This time I think it's been called by the Bosnia-Herzegovina team. They're 4 points ahead. The water's been given out liberally. So, what can Iran do? They've come back after that timeout. They're 4 points behind. And they need to win this set, otherwise the gold medal is going to Bosnia and Herzegovina. They're now 5 points behind, having lost that first point after the timeout. You can see there on the score, just as a reminder in case you forget. Bosnia and Herzegovina are 2 sets to 1 up. They just need to win this set to win the gold medal. Big Delhi there with the spike. The block from Bosnia and Herzegovina going out. Big Delhi now to serve. Having brought the gap back to 4 points. Spike from Duran. Good defensive work there from Manko, but the point goes to Iran. Iranian libero there, Zalehi looking a little bit worried. Yusufovic coming on now for Chanchar. 3 points in it. Two points in it. The set's been just under 14 minutes so far. Bosnia-Herzegovina maintaining their 3-point lead. If it goes point for point till the end of the set, then the gold medal's theirs. That's all they have to do. I say all, which makes it seem easy. They're playing against the best team in the world, the team that's won the gold medal 5 out of the last 6 times. Duran with the serve. Iran are not happy with that point. Timeout's been called. They're 4 points down and they're going to have to accept it. The referee's decision is final. They can talk to him, but they can't change his mind on that one. The Iranian coach is certainly earning his salary now. This is a team that is beginning to look beaten. They're not openly arguing, but when he's telling them stuff, you can see on their faces they're not happy. They're not sure what to do. Bosnia and Herzegovina look confident and look a little fresher. So the players return after that timeout. Duran with the serve. Bosnia and Herzegovina are 4 points to the good. And it looks to me, I know it's the commentator's curse, but it looks to me as though they are closing in on this gold medal. 17-12. Iran, they've made changes, they've rolled players on and off. Obviously with substitutions you can take them on and you can bring them back on. But they can't seem to find a formation that can make any impact on this Bosnia and Herzegovina team. Manko there with another great point. Alaporian looking lost. This great player who is one of the stars of the team. This whole Iranian team, they're all professional sitting volleyball players back in their home country. They're superstars back home, but at the moment, none of that fame is doing them any good. The looks on their faces is surprise and confusion, and they cannot see how to get back into this match. You can see Ebrahimi there having a spike, and normally he would expect that to break through the block or come off and go out, and the players are consoling each other now as though they've already lost. Now, if that's the mentality, then how can they get back into this game? They need to change their mentality. They need to up their work rate, which is easy for me to say, sitting commentating, but they need to up their work rate. Otherwise, the gold medal is going away. The Iranian crowd now are looking a little bit doubtful. They're not sure if their team can come back into this game, and based on the body language of the Iranian players, I'm not sure either. Can they prove me wrong? They win a point, and 1 point can make all the difference. It changes the momentum, brings them back within 5 points of the Bosnia and Herzegovina team, but a 5-point gap at this stage in the set is quite a lot. Iran need to go on a run of winning 3 or 4 points in a row, which can make a big difference. Desperate efforts there from IRI to keep that ball in, but the spike from the Bosnia-Herzegovina from number 12 there, Yusufovic, was just too good. There's no way he was going to keep that in. I don't think he'd have caught that if he'd been in a car. And they take a 6-point lead now. They're only 6 points away from victory. And that block there from Alibasic, or that dig, he really didn't need to do it because that ball was going out of play. He didn't realise he was sitting out of court, and in fact he's given a free point to Iran. He's given them the serve back. Amiri comes off. as captain and the oldest player on that team, and he's looking a little bit weary. Aliporian with the serve. He looks calm, sanguine, swiping a little bit of sweat off his brow. Could be just having a sit in the park on a hot day. He looks relaxed, even though he knows his team are a long way away from this gold medal at the moment. Great footwork from Hamzic there to keep the rally going. Two touches from the Iranians. Again, they don't agree with it. Two touches. I think the referee thought they touched it with one hand, then he touched it with another. And Bosnia and Herzegovina now moving to that point where they're 20 points. They're aiming for 25 points to win the gold medal. They can almost touch that medal now, but they can't allow themselves to think about that. They have to concentrate on each and every point, each and every shot. And that spike was a weary shot. That went a long way out of court. It wouldn't surprise me if that's ended up in the canteen around the back of the stadium. Number 6 putting all his effort into that, Hasanpour, but he didn't get high enough. He didn't lift his shoulders enough. And that's gone. Aliporian asking for a bit of moisture from the court to be mopped up by one of the volunteers. I'm sure they'll be on in a jiffy, to get rid of that moisture. Aliporian with the set. Zirahi doesn't win the point. He's so used to winning those points from those sets. And Bosnia-Herzegovina, they need to calm themselves down. They're only 3 points away from winning. They're even doing finger gestures of 3 points. The referee's looking quite relaxed. He looks like he's at a tea party there. You wouldn't think this was the gold medal match. Bosnia-Herzegovina, 3 points away from winning the gold medal. The serve comes in from Chanchar. That's a good spike from Pedayesh. Wins them the point, keeps them in this match, but they are 7 points back from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And 7 points at this point in the set is a long way back. Zirahi sitting, waiting at the net. Delalic sitting and waiting. Everyone waiting for the serve to come in. 22-15. Just 3 points away from the gold medal. Medic with the set. Manko tries the spike but doesn't do it. It's good defensive work. Great play by the Bosnia-Herzegovians. It was a double touch by the Iranians. That was incredible defensive work by several of the Bosnia-Herzegovina sides. A great reach there by Ali Basic. Kept the ball in play, and a great spike by Medic, which won them the point. Referee having none of it from the Iranians. 23-15. The crowd are now getting very excited. Pedayesh is having a word with the referee to try and get him to clarify why they'd lost that point. This Iranian side, they are a fantastic team. They've won every game that they've played in this tournament. Every game they won 3-0, apart from the one that they played against Bosnia-Herzegovina in the pool match, which they won 3-1. They won all their other matches 3-0. But now they are 2-1 down and 23-15 down in the fourth set. They are 2 points away from losing this gold medal. And what I should be saying is that the Bosnia-Herzegovina side are 2 points away from winning this gold medal. Kezma, the libero. And that gives them set point. Duran with a fantastic block spike. He was up high at the net. The Iranians are staring defeat in the face. And that face is saying, you have got no way back here, because they are a long way down. They're now 9 points behind Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's 9 set points for Bosnia-Herzegovina. The coach is looking calm. And they've won the gold medal. Bosnia-Herzegovina, in the last 6 tournaments, they've won it once, the gold medal. Iran, the team that they have just beaten, have won 5 out of the last 6 gold medals. The Iranians are lying on the court. They cannot believe that they've lost this game. They beat Bosnia and Herzegovina in the group match. They beat them 3-1. But all the way through tonight, even though Iran won that first set, Bosnia and Herzegovina just looked like the stronger team. And this Iranian team, although they are obviously depressed and distraught, This is such a sporting game. Aliporian looks devastated. The Bosnia-Herzegovina side are delighted, but they line up at the net. They take the congratulations of the Iranians, who have not tasted defeat since the Bosnia-Herzegovina team beat them in 2004. The gold medal goes to this amazing team from Bosnia-Herzegovina. They'd lost earlier in the tournament to Iran, but they came to this final today with a game plan, and that game plan was to not allow the Iranians the time on the ball, to not allow them the chance to take the points, and they have taken the gold medal. And so, as we see the Bosnia and Herzegovina side celebrating, winning the gold medal, one of the players there crying on the bench as he's being fanned by his coach. It's gold for Bosnia and Herzegovina, silver for the previous champions Iran, and let's not forget Germany, who won the bronze medal. Thank you very much for watching.
Attaque simultanée, en garde. Okay, allez.
And again the power post for Wong Tan Tat. Now that is a comeback here, Jimmy.
Yeah, it certainly is. Said Wong Tan Tat, incredibly fast blade working again, gets the power post there, and really he knows this is a crucial match for his team to get the hits back here. It's the last chance, one of the A fences, a B fencer from the Hong Kong side against Italy, and he knows that he's got up next Chung Ting Ching, their B fencer, so he knows he needs to get this, not only to score back, but try and get a lead to help his teammate in the next one, so they've got a level playing field going into the last three bouts. At the moment, if either team gets a strong lead at this point, so far they've tended to see them win.
Allez. Attaque, pise fer. Attaque au fer. Touché, point.
So Wong Tan Tat from Hong Kong, China has called a video there because he believes that was his attack. Italy believe it was their power post, so the referee now must decide.
Attaque au fer, attaque. Touché. Point.
Hong Kong, China overturned. Italy get the power post.
En garde, prêt. Allez. En garde. Prêt. Allez.
And again the power post there by Wong Tan Tat. My goodness me, they are world #1 for a reason. So, being turned over now, and Hong Kong, China with the advantage. My goodness me, this is a turnaround. Italy going into that match with a 6-hit advantage, turned around. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what Team Relay is about. Seesaw action there, so Italy's advantage eroded. Hong Kong, China now lead 2017. we were just going to say, but and just a point to note, ladies and gentlemen, the categorization of the athletes, the A and B, does mean that you do get CSIRs when an A fights a B. So,
That's it there for
Chung,
very nice action. And this is a chance for Italy now to try and do back to Hong Kong, which has happened, A fencer against B fencer. Matteo Betty against Chung. It does make it very exciting to watch these matches as we have the A and the B fencers against each other.
Test, please. Ok. En garde. Prêt, allez. Ah, prêt. En garde. Prêt, allez. En garde. Prêt, allez. En garde. Prêt, allez. En garde. Prêt, allez. En garde. Mr. Chung, middle. En garde.
so 19-22 the score. Chung tries an attack and it's off target, and Italy here coming back in. Matteo Betty with a power post.
En garde. Prêt, allez.
Counter riposte again by Betty is good. My goodness me, this is the main issue here.